Hello, 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 and welcome to another fantastic episode of Anarchy Among Friends Roundtable discussion. Before we get started, let me first remind you that we are covered by the BIPCOT No Government License, which allows for the use and reuse of this podcast by anyone and everyone except for governments and the bludgies thereof. You can learn more about that at bipcot.org. That is bipcot.org. We're also protected by Brandenburg v. Ohio, 1969, which ruled that the government cannot punish inflammatory speech unless that speech is, quote, directed to inciting or producing imminent lawless action and is likely to incite or produce such action. Therefore, everything we say here on Anarchy Among Friends Roundtable discussion is usually mostly
Hypothetical.
hypothetical. Thank you.
You're welcome.
I'm tired. I'm so tired today. I'm so wore out. Like 300 miles in the car yesterday, and running around with at my 5-year-old nephew's birthday party, and it's just so exhausted. I'm too old.
Your nephew is so fucking cool, dude. Like, what 5-year-old asks for a nacho bar for their birthday?
For a nacho bar.
That's so awesome.
A nacho bar and a Tyrannosaurus Rex head pinata.
Nice.
Yes. And then he also had a bounce house.
Oh, that's a perfect little boy's birthday.
Which, of course, Uncle Jay, you had to make sure it was safe.
Yeah.
And I realized I'm too old to play in a bounce house.
Oh, yeah. I realized that a couple of summers ago, dude. Yeah.
My elbow joints are not happy with me at all.
Elbows, knees, hips, ankles, like,
neck.
No.
The neck. 6 hours in the car. 6 hours in the car. My neck is... No, not happy.
Dude, oh my God. Guess what I got, you guys? I got one of those like chair pads that you put on wherever you normally sit that fucking has shiatsu massagers and heat in it. My neck hasn't felt this good in so long.
And welcome to the Retired Anarchist Podcast. Sponsored by AARP.
And Ben Gay.
Yeah.
Ben Still, whatever.
Yeah. Anyways, yeah. Okay, you said neck, and that reminds me. Yeah, whatever. I'm fucking on edible number 2 today, so
I'm on aspirin like number 6. I'm sorry, ibuprofen number 6. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, ibuprofen is candy. Yeah.
Yes, Andrew, I did take a knee and I did water.
Okay. All right. Did you change your socks? Make sure you change your socks.
I actually did change my socks, yes.
There we go.
May or may not be wearing the same underwear, but I changed my socks.
I don't care about the underwear. It's always the socks. You got to change the socks. Do you want trench foot? Because that is how you get it.
Dude, my dad's a Vietnam vet, and every time we went camping, that was the one thing he always checked was that we brought extra socks, and he would prop our shoes up by the fire pit every night to make sure they were dry.
Yeah.
And he was obsessed about our feet staying dry while we were camping.
Yeah, I was really close to getting trench foot. I started to develop it because I'd just been wearing my boots and my socks continuously for 3 days. And because I'm whatever, this is ridiculous. It's the desert. I'm not going to get. And no, that got bad. Holy crap.
Yeah.
You don't realize how delicate your skin can get when it stays that wet for that long. Holy crap.
Women kind of understand.
Yeah. Well, I suppose you might.
It's a delicate balance, okay? We get it.
Yeah, I have nowhere to go after that one.
I got nothing now.
We might as well just end the show. Thanks for listening.
Good night, everybody.
Tip your waitress.
Yeah. You're welcome for making you all so fucking uncomfortable. Yup.
I didn't even have a good comeback. I couldn't even come up with
anything. There is no comeback from that.
Yeah, it's just. Well, that was sad.
You can try to one up it and talk about catching the tip in a zipper or something, but there's no other place that you can go with that.
Yeah. Well, but you're still gonna lose because childbirth and shit. But
Hey, I had the flu once. talking about childbirth. I had the flu.
Was it the Kung flu?
No, it was the man flu.
Oh, well, that's a segue
And you know,
because
and you
I
know
think
how,
we have a couple of fucking.
and you know those are deadly.
Yeah, the man flu. I know.
Oh,
I know.
all right.
You should see it when everybody around here has strep. Everybody's fucking dying except me, who has to take care of everybody, even though I have the worst case in the house. Yeah, I understand the man flu.
It's really hard.
Yeah.
You're the mom. I mean, I'm sorry.
Yeah. I'm talking about even my husband, though. He's not up helping me take care of the kids. He's just another fucking burden. Don't tell him I said that. I'm just joking. It's just because he's a weenie when he's sick.
Yeah, we're not gonna go there.
Yeah. Well, he watches these, so I'm fucked anyways.
All right. So epic subject change. YouTuber arrested on 18 counts for filming epic jump on private property without a permit.
And it was a pretty epic jump. I gotta say, I've watched that, and to see it, how much does a TRX weigh? Like 3,500 pounds, something like that.
I have no idea.
But it's a Dodge Ram TRX. It's like 3,500 pounds, and he just flies over that river.
It's a 702 horsepower.
Yep.
Jesus.
It's a Dodge Ram that has a Hellcat motor in it.
It's good.
It's beautiful.
Lord.
It is the direct competitor to the F-150 Raptor, and
that's like twice the horsepower of my fucking Lincoln Navigator, and the Navigator's got damn good horsepower.
Well, and then consider that it's less horsepower than a Hellcat Redeye has. The Hellcat Redeye has like an extra like 30 something horsepower.
So it has 702 horsepower, 650 foot-pounds of torque, and it has a gross weight of 7,800 pounds.
7,800 pounds. Okay, so whoa, was I low?
Yeah.
And he sails through the air in this incredible Dukes of Hazzard jump over a river.
For views on YouTube.
Yeah, that's all that guy does. Is he just takes really nice trucks and vehicles and like jumps them and does retarded shit with them. It is fantastic. I want his job in the worst way. Yeah. That would be so amazing.
And the beauty of the YouTube generation is he created that job for himself.
Yep.
Yeah.
Entertainment, sensationalism sells.
Yep.
So, all right, to the article, it's from our homies at the Free Thought Project.
Mm-hmm.
And it says the man behind a viral YouTube channel, Street Speed 717, whose real name is Michael Hysong, will apparently do just about anything for views, and it appears to be quite a lucrative business. However, he has apparently made some enemies in the police world who caught wind of one of his recent viral videos and are charging him for it.
On private fucking property.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, well, we'll get to that. According to the authorities, the song broke at least 18 laws when he filmed a brand new 702 horsepower Ram TRX, making an epic jump, trashing the high-powered Dodge along the way.
Okay, but they realized that by persecuting him for that, they're just making sure that he gets like a shitload of new views and subscribers, right? They're making him.
Oh, not only that, he actually made a video about the charges, and every video that is related to the charges will be another viral video because of the original video.
Yeah.
According to the song, however, he was on private property, had permission to be filming there, and harmed no one. The song now faces a slew of charges under Title 30 of the Pennsylvania Consolidated Statutes called, quote, Protection of Property and Waters. According to the Pennsylvania Fish and Boat Commission, all the charges were thoroughly documented in the video.
Because he dared to jump not just the truck over like a ravine, he jumped it over a small stream.
Yes.
Wait, he didn't touch the water.
No.
But they're charging him for putting the water at risk of being touched.
Yep. Yeah. We'll get into charge in a second. The Drive, which is an automotive website. The Drive reports that, according to the spokesman at the PFBC, the commission was alerted to activity occurring on the property in York County, Pennsylvania, where the videos were filmed prior to having knowledge of Hassan's TRX video. Quote, his charges include various violations of specific verbiage within Title 30, including 2 counts of disturbance of waterways and watersheds, 6 counts of pollution of waters, 6 counts of littering, 4 counts of misuse of property and waters. This equates to 8 third-degree misdemeanor charges, 4 second-degree summary offenses, and 6 first-degree summary offenses. It's unknown what these charges will entail. However, other individuals who were previously convicted under these laws have been ordered to pay civil damages resulting in restitution to the Commonwealth for damage to fish commercial resale value, commercial resale value, the replacement cost of fish based on the angling value, and more.
What did he damage? Did he damage literally anything?
No, he didn't.
Other
The truck.
Other than the
but
truck.
You can see there. This is a shot from the video. That waterway is very small.
Oh,
it's not a navigable waterway.
That is
absolutely
a tiny not stream. Navigable. No.
No.
And that is what he's being charged with 18 counts for having anything to do with. How dare he? Even though nothing really other than dirt wound up in the water.
Yeah.
Yes. Hassan made a video detailing the charges and refutes them one by one, calling them frivolous. In an ironic twist, he makes the video about the police state actions being taken against him in front of a thin blue line flag seen hanging behind him.
Okay. Well, now I feel less sorry for him.
Hassan goes on to state that the charges against him hold no merit, and many of them are for failing to obtain a permit before conducting the jump, which was on private property. Some of the charges are confusing as well.
I bet that thin blue line flag will come down sometime soon.
As the Drive reports. For example, let's examine the 4 counts of misuse of property and waters. According to the description of the charges read by the YouTuber, he received a charge because he did not, quote, forward in the most direct manner.
That was pretty fucking direct.
Yeah.
And he also wasn't forwarding anything.
He wasn't forwarding anything.
No.
He wasn't walking at all. But
so if he'd actually touched the water, he wouldn't have been charged with putting the water at risk of being touched.
Apparently.
Because he did not, quote, forward in the most direct manner, something the statute covers in Chapter 25, noting that it is illegal to, quote, run any vehicle except forwarding in the most direct manner in any stream.
No, that was fucking direct, and it wasn't forwarding.
Yeah, and he wasn't in the fucking
It wasn't
stream.
in the stream at all, yeah.
He was over the stream.
These cops need to play some fucking Oregon Trail so they know what fording a river really fucking means.
Yeah, there are 3 other videos, one from January 19, January 22nd, and a final from January 29th, which all show him driving through the stream as if it were a road.
Huh.
Right? So those charges aren't from the jump. Those are from previous videos.
Gotcha.
From other videos, which is ridiculous because,
again,
seriously,
it's not a navigable stream. Like, you guys remember the story about the retired Marine that built the ponds on his property?
Yes. Wasn't
right?
that in...
That one went all the way to SCOTUS, all the way to Supreme Court, and Supreme Court ruled in his favor because they were not navigable streams.
Right.
Yep.
Right, so... But
yeah, and that's the thing too. That was the rub. They're like, oh, it's a navigable waterway, and everyone's like, dude, it's 6.5 inches wide.
Yeah.
What are you navigating?
Right.
Yeah. According to his song, he did not litter, did not damage any waterway, did not leak fluids, nor were his actions destructive to the environment. He also thinks that paying taxes should have somehow kept him out of trouble with the authorities. Quote,
yeah, okay.
Quote, I pay literally hundreds of thousands of dollars in taxes, and I don't even want free stuff. I just want to be left alone, and the government just can't help itself. The song says at the end of the video, in front of the thin blue line flag.
Welcome to the anarchist community, buddy.
Quote, yeah, quote, I think they are really trying to throw the book at me. I don't know if it's because it's easy, it's on video, or to make an example of me because the video got 1.6 million views.
All of the above.
Yeah, it's at that point you're setting yourself up with a great big target. One, because it's on video, so they don't need to do any investigation at all. And 2, because you are so popular, all they have to do is prosecute you, and then their thinking is that then no one else will want to do the same things that you did, because they're gonna be
Right.
like, holy shit, he got into trouble for it, I'm not gonna do it.
Right. Right.
Because
Yeah.
apparently jumping a stream is such a horrific thing. I mean, like, he makes the point in the Drive article, which is the one that I had originally posted when I had seen it. He makes the point that he's like, any fluids that were leaking, we made sure, didn't go into the ground. We got those cleaned up right away. We any garbage, because they charged him with littering. He's like, there was no garbage left behind. There was no pieces of the truck that we left behind. There was no, like, this is a person's property. We're gonna maintain it after we're done. So, like, there's nothing left. What am I littering? What am I leaving behind? Nothing. That's
Yeah, and the property owner like had no problem with this. It's not his property, right?
No, it's somebody else's.
Somebody else's property.
Give them
Somebody else's
permission.
property, but they had permission to be there.
You're right. Yeah. So,
Dude, are you kidding me? If I owned property with a tiny little stream and someone's like, dude, I want to just jump this like $75,000 truck full send over it,
Hold on.
I'm gonna be like,
Let me set up a second camera.
yeah, like,
Yeah.
okay, let's do that. That's gonna be awesome. Like,
yeah.
I'm not gonna say no.
Nope. I mean, like, maybe compensate me a little bit for using my property to make money off of. But, other than that,
Yeah,
shit.
that's fucking sweet. Like, it is a
And
hell
not
of a...
even a lot of compensation, just like maybe throw me a cake, like $1,000 or something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, the thing is, like, it's such an abrupt video. Like, you can't stop laughing after the truck just kind of disintegrates on the other side, because it's just fucking hilarious. And boom, and it was like, oh shit.
Oh, it landed so nose heavy.
Oh yeah, it's just wow. Like, oh. I can't believe it didn't go end over end, to be honest, because the amount of distance that it cleared, it really started to nosedive by the time it got to the other end. Because that's what cars do, because they have, in trucks, because they have a lot of weight in front and not a lot in back.
Yeah, the engine's in the front.
So they do that. But this isn't the first time he's done something like this. He's never had charges for any of the other shit. Like, this is purely because it involved this tiny little creek.
$90,000 for a 2021
And
1500 TRX.
and it's just because they wanted to flex. It's because the cops wanted to fucking flex.
Well, and I think a lot of it is because they're jealous of how much money he has, because he can buy these vehicles and then obliterate them.
Well, not only that, but I mean, we can get into the whole property rights issue here. I mean, if it's a person's property, right?
Mm-hmm.
He didn't touch the creek in the jump. I mean, he drove up and down the creek, but whatever. I mean, it's not a navigable water, right? If it was a navigable water, he wouldn't be able to fucking drive in it, right?
Right, it's like a trickle through the property.
So, but the property rights issue, we get into that, but it's stupid.
Yeah. But these cops, I mean, I've been thinking about this the last couple of days. Like, cops these days, American cops, they don't have fucking hero energy. They have villain energy. This is fucking villain energy. Because literally nobody got hurt. Nobody's property got damaged. Who wasn't okay with their property being damaged, Like, the guy bought the truck and his purpose was to fucking wreck it. So whatever, that's his right. It's his property to dispose with as he sees fit. But, like, they're not protecting anybody.
No, they
by doing this.
Not only that, but they have no obligation to protect people.
I know.
Or property,
Right.
as outlined by the Supreme Court several times.
Right.
Yeah, repeatedly throughout the years. And the funny thing is that there are still people who don't think that's the case.
Well,
they're like super shocked.
We can also get off on the point that the people charging him, that this commission, the Fish and Boat Commission or whatever it was, they're not even actually law enforcement, right? They're part of the environmental coalition, the environmental branch of government, of
bureaucrats.
Unelected bureaucrats.
Yeah.
So, it's stupid.
Yeah.
But what's not stupid? I'm glad you're here for this article, Jerica. You're gonna have to hold Andrew and I back just a little bit. Judge removes 6-year-old from mom who didn't wear a mask at school drop-off.
You guys expect me to hold you back on this topic?
The mom's a doctor.
Nice.
A doctor didn't wear a mask.
Her last name is also Epstein, but that has nothing to do with
the. And didn't this judge spit on somebody not that long ago?
Yep.
Yes, he spit on a attorney in public.
Yeah.
In 2017, yeah.
Yeah.
But she doesn't wear a mask. She's a doctor, doesn't wear a mask.
Yeah,
and
didn't wear.
The judge fucking takes her child away.
She
from her.
never. Yeah. Okay. Okay.
And it's like school drop off, so she didn't even get out of her car, did she?
No. It was a walk up. It was a walk up.
Okay.
Yeah.
Still, it's outdoors, for fuck's sake.
A New York City Supreme Court judge has removed a mother's custody rights to her 6-year-old daughter for not wearing a mask while dropping her off at school. Now the mother is allowed to only supervise visits or 2 supervised visits a week, as long as she is masked when she is with her child.
Holy shit.
Family doctor Michelle Epstein told the Gateway Pundit that after she had dropped her daughter off at Birch Warren Lennox School in Manhattan's Upper East Side, the school nurse and school security attempted to force her to, quote, wear a mask on the public street in front of the building where drop-offs take place.
Oh my
but
God.
Epstein refused. The school subsequently sent a letter to the mother and ex-husband informing them that Epstein was no longer allowed to drop off or pick up her child from school.
This is what you fucking get when you give the government control over your family and your children by sending your children to their fucking indoctrination centers.
I can't say a lot because Brandenburg.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The New York City government website claims a New York state law is requiring, quote, everyone over age 2 who can medically tolerate a face covering to wear one in public if unable to maintain at least a 6 feet distance from others. Epstein's ex-husband used the school's letter to, quote, to request an emergency hearing for full custody, which Justice Matthew F. Cooper granted after berating the already emotionally devastated mother.
Oh my God.
Epstein is now allowed to visit her daughter only twice a week and must be masked as she does so. The visits must be supervised. Supervision of the parental visit is ordinarily only required in cases where there is danger of physical or emotional harm to the child.
Yeah.
The court has also, quote, decided that the mother is not permitted to remove her daughter from the school and it forbid her from seeing or speaking to her daughter on her 6th birthday. Because it's not one of the approved visitation days.
You guys, there's so much that I can't say.
Yep, I think we're all on the same page there. Like there are solutions to this problem, but none that I can talk about.
I know what I would do if I were.
Dr. Epstein is currently working 3 jobs to pay for not only her daughter's expenses, but the 6 lawyers she hired to fight what she is referring to as the kidnapping of her child.
Because it is a kidnapping.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the thing is, it's only used when there's a danger of psychological or emotional or physical abuse. Well, you know who's emotionally and psychologically abusing this child right now? The fucking court system.
The fucking state. And the state is abusing the mother, too. Yep.
And fuck this dad for using that as an excuse.
Yes, nobody takes the state's custody away and gives the state only supervised visitation with people.
Yeah. Epstein launched a Give Send Go fundraiser to help her cover the mounting legal expenses. The fundraising page features a picture of a man refusing to wear a mask and vaccine with the words, quote, no thanks, I'm not your experiment.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
She is a doctor.
Yep. I was just going to say,
I
and
feel
just
like
to reiterate,
that needs
a
to
doctor.
keep being said. She is a doctor. Yeah.
But we've seen that too lately on like social media with criticism of Rand Paul. And where people keep putting Dr. Paul in quotes, and it's like he's literally a practicing medical professional with an MD. He is a doctor.
Yeah.
That's when scientists can't disagree on science, it's no longer science.
Exactly.
It has ceased to be science. All science should be questionable.
And all
of it.
doctors should be scientists. All doctors should always be questioning and should always be learning and should always be, like investigating. That's part of their job. They're supposed to be scientists.
Well, yeah, I mean, Adam Savage on one of his Ask Adam videos that he does for Patreon supporters, for his YouTube channel. He used to be on MythBusters. It's where everybody knows him from.
Yeah.
He mentioned that one of the things he loved about MythBusters was that it occasionally created results that were unexpected enough to make people go, "What?" And he said, in the moment that somebody looks at a situation and goes, "What? Really?" And then starts looking into it, you've created a scientist.
Yes.
Because now they're doing science. They're asking questions and then trying to prove or disprove certain elements of whatever it is that they're going through. So if you take that ability away, you are saying you're not allowed to do science.
Science is investigation. That's literally what science is investigation. And just swallowing what you're fucking told by people who have good reasons to want to sell you bullshit. That's not fucking science.
Well, yeah, and around here, I mean, I think it's interesting that she's a doctor too, because around here we're not a very large city, but we have multiple very large hospitals in town. So there's just like half of the fucking city works in the medical industry. It's ridiculous.
It's weird.
I don't know, but between Gunderson and Mayo, and of course, Mayo is world famous, and this is one of the primary branches outside of Rochester, Minnesota. But we have so many medical professionals in town, and so many of them that come into my store don't bother with a mask. They don't care. Because they're like, well, I don't have COVID, so I don't have to worry about it.
Right.
And if that many people that are medical professionals who actually study this stuff go, well, no, that's stupid. Maybe it's time to let go of your faith in going, oh, well, but Fauci said.
Yeah.
Just a thought.
People treat Fauci like he's the lost apostle.
And I have a question. I saw somebody ask this on Facebook today. I don't remember who. So if it was you, comment, I guess, and tell us it was you. But the question is, the people who are like running these testing centers, the COVID testing sites and shit, why don't they have to quarantine for 14 days after they find a positive case?
Yeah.
Interesting question, isn't it?
After they come in contact with someone who's positive.
I mean, we have a drive-through testing center here. That's actually when I tested positive. That's where I went. It's super nice. There's like doors on each end of the building. You drive in one door, get tested, and then drive out. You never even have to get out of your car or anything. They come up in a mask and like
that should become one of those drive-through convenience stores or strip clubs when this whole thing is over.
The funniest part though is the building that it's in. I used to work in back. I worked in the office for Labor Ready Services, and it was there. That was the office. So like going into it now, and there's these giant doors, and it's
and you get to drive through the old office. That's kind of cool.
Yeah, it's really fucking weird. It's a surreal experience. But like they're leaning in and having contact with you. I mean, they're standing there, even though you're in your car, your window is down, obviously, and they're stabbing your brain. And I hate COVID tests so much. I've had to get I fucking hate it.
Yeah.
But
I would seriously rather get the anal swab than the one that goes up my nose.
I don't know.
I mean, I don't want to get either, but
nobody is supposed to enjoy medical procedures.
Yeah, well, tell me how it goes next time you have your prostate checked.
No, you don't have to be done yet.
One more time.
Are you certain? Are you totally sure? You want to check again?
Try the other hand. Feel around again.
Yeah. Maybe go to 3 fingers. I don't. Yeah.
You probably need to apply some pressure to the front to be able to feel everything properly.
No, but it makes me so angry, and I'm so yes, I mentioned earlier yesterday. I was really. We were talking about before how sore I was about, going up there and back. But one of the things that I absolutely loved, right? 6 hour, or I drove up 3 hours, hung out for like 5 hours, and then drove 3 hours back. But that 5 hours, I when we got up there, like I had to wear a mask into the grocery store, right, to get sodas and stuff, which that's what I'm used to down here.
Right.
Right. So, but then we get to the park, and nobody is wearing a mask.
Nice.
Nobody. We had at the peak, we probably had 30, 35 people there, kids, adults. Like my dad was there, and my sister-in-law's grandmother was there, right? Elderly lady. Sat down in a chair the entire time, had a blanket on her lap. Old lady, not wearing a mask. None of the kids wore masks. Running around, people are sitting shoulder to shoulder, sharing drinks, eating off each other's plates, the whole yard. And it felt so fantastic to have this window of normalcy.
Right.
What kind of a bizarre world, sad world do we live in that a normal social gathering feels liberating?
Yeah.
And there were other people in the park, and they were wearing masks. There's a guy playing with his dog by himself 30 yards away from us.
Oh my God, wearing a fucking mask.
Oh, I've seen people drive.
There were other kids on the playground. Kids, 5, 6, 7, 8-year-old kids wearing masks.
I don't get. Oh my God. I mean, I've seen people ride bicycles past my store and looked out the window, and they're wearing a mask on their bicycle. There's no one else around them, obviously. Yep. They're just riding a bicycle and they're wearing a fucking mask. Who are you protecting? Because remember, they're always on. Their excuse was, well, it's not to protect you, when it got totally disproven that it protected you at all. Like, it's to protect everyone else. Well, who are you protecting? You're on your own. There's no one else around you. What do you? I mean, there are the stories that I've heard of people with, like, young kids, like 1-year-olds, that have never lived in a world where people weren't all wearing masks.
There's fucking videos. There's TikTok videos, Instagram videos, and YouTube videos of parents taking off their masks, and little kids freak out and cry
because they don't know what their own parents' face looks like, because they've never seen them without a mask on.
Oh, Jesus.
This is the insanity of the world we live in. I mean, like Lindsay and I in January, we went up to do her family Christmas, and like no one was wearing a mask. Like her sister wore one, and her sister's kids were wearing one initially at the beginning of the night, and then those wound up coming off because no one else was wearing them, because no one cares. So nobody's wearing a mask. None of us are sick. So why? So nobody's wearing a mask. We hang out. Guess how many people died? None. Look at that.
Yeah.
So, but circling back to the article. Okay, take a deep breath, Jason. Okay, so circling back to the article. She was in front of she was on a public sidewalk in front of the school, right? Not on school grounds. Her daughter was wearing a mask because they have to wear one when they're in the school. And the nurse left the school grounds to come onto the public sidewalk.
Walk towards her.
Approached her, the non-mask wearer, because that's how so scary that you're not wearing a mask that I'm going to approach you and address you face to face about you're not wearing a mask, because not wearing a mask is
I'm going to violate
scary.
social distancing, so I can come and tell you need to have a mask on.
It is funny how many like mask holes will approach people, get close to them to yell at them, and then don't see the irony in what they've just done at all. Yeah. They just don't see it even remotely. I mean, I never wear a mask, except for there's like a couple of stores here that flat out will not serve you if you don't have a mask on.
It is against the law here for a store to not serve you. Or it is against the law here for a store to serve you if you're not wearing a mask.
That's fucking insane.
Jesus Christ.
I mean, and around here, thankfully, that's not the case. But I mean, it's a private business. Fine, whatever. You want to require it, I'm a capitalist. You're a private business. Fine, I'll deal
Yeah.
with it. I think you're dumb,
I
but okay,
agree.
whatever.
I agree
Right.
completely on that one.
So, but like I go any store that doesn't flat out require it, I don't bother wearing a mask because why? That's stupid. I've never been approached by anybody. I have never had
haven't
a
either.
single person tell me anything. I've gotten a couple of dirty looks, but that's all I've gotten. And I get dirty
Yeah.
looks from old ladies anyway because of my tattoos. So I don't really worry about it. Like, I'm used to that.
And I'll get like one dirty look, like maybe a month, and I just give the person like my best smile, and they always smile back at me because they're so happy to see a fucking smile that they stop hating me. And they don't even realize, that's like that simple human connection of a smile has been
No,
they've been deprived of that.
and that's what I was getting at is like I told that little story about going to my nephew's birthday party and the normalcy bias and all this. That's not normal anymore, though.
Yeah.
The masks are normal.
No, they're not. I refuse to fucking call that normal.
The birthday party without any masks, that's abnormal.
Yeah.
It's
worthy of commentary nowadays, anyways. Yeah.
Which is which is really sad. Which is really, really sad that that's worthy of commentary.
Yep.
To be able to interact with other human beings without everyone covering half of their faces is like a privilege now. Like, this is a rare occurrence. This is nice to be able to.
You're a rebel if you do that. If you fucking let people see you smile.
I mean, this is. It feels like we're all women in Iran. I mean,
yeah, I know.
Like, we all have to cover our faces because how dare you show your face?
Yeah,
it's
like
just,
a hijab. Yeah.
Yeah, and I've actually watched guys walking down the street wearing a mask, shirtless.
Yeah.
You're completely exposing a huge amount of your skin and everything, and you're wearing a mask? What?
Oh God. Remember this past summer there was all the photographs of people in the swimming pools with the masks?
Yeah.
In the swimming pool or in the water with a mask on?
Yes.
Well, yeah, there's that one
and
photo
people
of that dude.
Don't see this as fucking weird. That's what blows me away, that people see this as like something virtuous and like,
Well, it's like I said earlier, people, Fauci's the lost apostle.
Oh.
Fauci doesn't even agree with Fauci.
Science is the forbidden chapter of the Bible.
Yeah.
People treat it like gospel.
It's so weird. And I mean, and that's the thing, is this hysteria has built up to this point that even though all of the horrible mass death predictions turned out to be a load of horse shit and everything else, no one will admit that that's the case. They still won't admit it, and they still act like if you don't wear a mask, you just want everyone to die, which is why this lady winds up having her child fucking kidnapped.
I understand what's happening in their minds because I've raised several children through toddlerhood at this point in my life. Okay? They cannot admit it because then they would look silly, and they're afraid of everybody laughing at that.
The CDC came out yesterday. Was it yesterday or this morning? CDC came out and said that social distancing in school, 3 feet's okay.
Yeah, it was yesterday. Yeah, and
three feet. 3 feet in school is okay, but 6 feet everywhere else is mandatory.
I mean,
how did people not see how it's just arbitrary? Simon Says
so
bullshit.
Arbitrary, and arbitrary is just fucking not logical.
Like, what you have to walk into the restaurant wearing your mask, and then once you sit down, you can take it off. But then if you get up and go to the bathroom, you have to put your mask on again as you're walking.
Where was it that was just trying to introduce some policy where you have to fucking like put your mask back on in between bites?
In between bites. That was here in Cali.
Jesus! Of course it fucking was.
And
now no screaming.
They recommended it. They didn't order it. They recommended. That was also here in California.
Yeah.
April 1st. The like the large entertainment areas like the stadiums and
Dude, are
like
you
Knott's Berry
ready to
Farm,
move out of
Disneyland, and all that
California
stuff
yet?
are opening back up, but you're not supposed to scream on the
On the
roller
roller
coasters
coasters.
because they don't want you to project COVID on people.
I don't scream on roller coasters anyways. I'm too busy enjoying them.
Yeah,
But
if
I
you
will
are-
fight for your right to scream on a fucking roller
Well, and
coaster.
even if you are screaming on the roller coaster, like you're moving forward through the air at like 60, 70 miles an hour.
Yeah.
The wind is going to take anything that comes out of your face and push it back into your own face. You are
Yes.
spreading nothing.
Right.
This is physics. I don't
Yeah.
understand. Oh my God.
Some roller coasters, it's like 90 miles an hour. We have one here at King's Dominion called the Intimidator. Intimidator 305.
What's the
Right.
big boat one that goes back and forth? You're just
Oh,
like
I
you
love
go up,
those.
you go up, and
Yeah.
you scream at the bottom, and you're just going through your germs again and again and again. And again.
There's a friend of mine actually puked in his own face once on that. It was the funniest thing that I heard. But apparently, like, it was right at the very top of the swing, and he threw up, and he watched it go out, and then with horror, because they were like at the weightless point, it
Yeah.
kind of came up, and then in horror, he watched as it all just splattered back in his own face.
Nice. Well, him and the person behind him, I guess.
Yeah, I'm sure they got a little bit on him. I can see going, hey, maybe don't like puke on roller coasters.
See, if that were me, then like I would puke, and then the person behind me would puke,
It's just
and it would just be like that scene from The Sandlot where they puke on the fucking on the carnival ride.
everybody's puking as it's swinging back and forth.
I cannot watch that scene. Oh my god, I will literally fucking throw up.
Oh,
I'm
I'm
gagging
just
just
picturing
thinking
it.
about it.
what is that?
Sure,
It's Chaw.
God. Yeah,
Throws up on the girl's shoes.
Oh man. Yeah, but I mean that's we have to talk about this article like this because we can't talk about it directly because if we do, we will cross the Brandenburg.
I was
line.
just gonna say that. Literally, I was gonna say I can't face this article head on because I'm gonna get in trouble if I do.
Yeah. I think all of us, when we first saw this article, all of us said things that would probably land us in prison.
The Telegram
Yeah.
chat was lit. That's for sure. Our lawyer recommends that we delete that.
For legal reasons, this is all a joke.
They're just words. We're just blowing off steam. You don't
I mean-
want to take away our catharsis, do you? Because
Yeah.
bad
Alright.
things will happen if you take away our catharsis.
All right, let's go for a laugh before we
Yeah, let's do a laugh.
let's before we jump in the other COVID one. Utah campaign against porn marches on with phone filter plan.
Yeah.
This
I
is
was
the most
telling
ridiculous.
Kevin about this one.
I had to reread this repeatedly and just stare at it because what?
Yeah.
What?
Conservative lawmakers.
As soon as I read the fucking headline, I was like, business idea. I'm going to start running black market electronics in Utah so people can watch porn.
Black market porn phones.
Yeah.
Oh,
You could sell them with those silicone booby back covers
Yeah.
and
right.
stuff, and it's the porn phone.
Keep them on vibrate.
Yeah,
a phone case that has a little lotion dispenser.
Yeah.
All right. Conservative lawmakers in Utah have fired another salvo. I'm laughing at the lotion idea.
That's
I
only
have
for
this- I have
guys.
this- I
Girls
have this
just
little-
make one that has like a nubby.
Yeah, I have this
Texture.
little ring on my phone for holding it. We just turn it into a little lotion pump.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Can you imagine a fleshlight just attached to the back of a phone?
Yeah. Just a little like bracket to put your phone in on your flashlight.
Yeah, I mean, it would be a little hard to actually see the screen, I guess, in the motion, but I mean, it might be something we can figure out.
No,
Hey,
see,
Tom.
that brings up a whole new market for porn like imagery. Just have like shots like from the top of chicks just like sucking, right? And then you bring that up on your phone and put it on your fleshlight, right?
Ah, I see. Yeah, like one of the suckers, like those automatic suckers. See, and then okay, yeah, no, I can. We should workshop this. I think this is a business idea. It's
yeah.
For legal reasons, please do not try to steal that idea.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay. This is literally why people listen to us. That's it. That's the only reason people listen to us, because of shit like that.
Every single person that I know in real life that also listens to our show has all said that they love how dirty our shows constantly are. So yeah, that is actually
probably the only reason people listen to it.
We are not safe at all.
I do, but before every episode when I'm looking for links, like I'll actually Google like stripper news. and look at the news on Google and MSN and whatnot, looking for stories about strippers.
This is a good outlet for me, because
that's our bread and butter.
I've been developing my skill at sexual innuendo since middle school, right? And finally, I get to put it to good use.
My carefully honed skills,
cultivated. I just really worked hard on it all these years.
Sexual innuendo ninja.
I worked so hard on it all these years, you guys.
Yes, the double entendre shuriken.
Yes.
I was completely innocent until I met them. I swear.
No, you fucking weren't.
I swear, I'm a good boy. I swear. All right. Conservative lawmakers in Utah have fired another salvo into the long-time campaign against online porn with a new requirement that all cell phones and tablets sold in the state automatically block pornography, in a plan that critics call a significant intrusion on free speech.
You think?
Supporters and critics
it's a significant intrusion on a lot of stuff.
Yeah. Supporters and critics alike are now waiting to find out if new Governor Spencer Cox, a Republican, will sign or veto.
The guy's name is fucking
Governor Cox. Yes. A Republican will sign or veto a proposal that the GOP legislator passed this month.
Oh, we got 2, 3. Yes, we are all 12. Cox.
His name is Cox.
His name is Cox, and he's possibly anti-porn.
He's trying
to Spencer Cox. What is that? 5?
I think that's 4 now. We're at 4. Probably rapidly approaching 5.
I'm sorry.
Christopher's gonna be so upset he missed this.
Yeah.
I'm too fucking high for this shit, you guys.
I think we get that also once an episode. That should also be on a patch or t-shirt in addition to it gets better. And also, I'm way too fucking high for this shit, you guys.
I'm too high for this shit, you guys.
Cox has a significant intrusion.
Cox.
You don't want intrusions from Cox.
Cox is penetrating your freedoms.
Block pornography. Minecraft.
I love it when somebody's name is just the perfect fucking name for them to have for this story.
There's a firefighter here in Milwaukee named Les McBurney.
Les McBurney. Yep. That's a good meme too. All right. Supporters and critics alike are now waiting to find out if the new Governor Spencer Cox, a Republican, will sign or veto a proposal that the GOP legislator passed this month. Cox hasn't indicated publicly which way he's leaning.
I gotta say, for a guy with a name like that to do some shit like this, Cox has some fucking balls.
Andrew's dying.
Has some fucking balls.
Andrew's dying. He caught that line.
Oh, what was it?
Cox hasn't indicated publicly which way he's leaning.
Oh. See, I don't have one, so that didn't hit me the same way it's you guys.
It's good because usually you go to jail for things like that.
His spokesman, Jennifer Napier Pierce, said only in an email that Cox will carefully consider the bill during the bill's signing period. He has until March 25th to decide.
There's no way that this withstands constitutional scrutiny at all. I mean, none.
Oh, come on now.
Hey, Cox,
Constitution-
how's it
Constitution
hanging?
is
But he doesn't
unconstitutional
know.
at this
He
point.
doesn't know which way he's leaning.
Yeah. Supporters
Cox, don't
argue
leave
that
us hanging.
Supporters argue that the restriction is a critical step to help parents keep explicit content away from kids, especially as more children have their own electronic devices and have been forced to spend more time on them during the pandemic.
Well, first of all, if you didn't lock them all away, they wouldn't be spending quite as much time on their devices. And second of all, and really more importantly, parents could, I don't know, pay attention to their fucking children.
Yes.
Yeah. And third of all, it's not your fucking business. Oh my God.
Yeah, what the... I mean, this is exactly the same as gun control. It's exactly the same as so many other laws where we're going to punish the people who can do this responsibly because there might be someone who doesn't.
Yeah.
Yes. Combating porn is a perennial issue for the Utah lawmakers who have previously mandated warning labels on print and online pornography and declared porn a public health crisis.
And what kills me is, doesn't Utah share a border with Nevada?
Yes. Yeah, well, remember, Utah is all Mormons.
Right, but what I'm saying is, you can stand in one spot in the fucking desert, right? And you can run a business, a sex-based business. Like, you could shoot porn, whatever you fucking want. You move 3 feet to the right across that fucking border, and you're a criminal.
I've considered that very same thing with firearms in Nevada and California.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Like California, like in Nevada, I could like buy an AR in a parking lot and 30-round magazine and have all that good stuff on my rifle, and then you step on that other side of that border and it's like 3 felonies and 6 misdemeanors and.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. I told you about. I mean, it's been early days of the podcast, but I mentioned that story where I was there. I was in Reno, Nevada, with one of my buddies that I'd served with, who trained the Reno SWAT team at the time, and we were going to go shooting. So we had a bunch of our automatics. We had short shotguns, short-barreled rifles, automatic pistols, like a couple of G18s, all this other stuff in the car. So like literally, it's a 4-door car. The entire back
land the plane, Andrew.
Is guns. We accidentally, on the way to the range, take the wrong turn and suddenly realize as we're going down the highway that we see a "Welcome to California" sign. And we're like, oh shit, turn the car around. Turn the car around right now. Oh my God.
Once you get on 80 going east or going west, there's like 3 turnoffs, and then there's like a 3-mile stretch where there's no turnoffs before the California border.
Right.
So we didn't even realize that we were straight into California. We whip a Yui in one of those emergency things, whip a Yui, come back the other way. As we're coming back and getting close to the border, a CHP car pulls out behind us.
California
he saw us pull he saw us pull the Yui. Doesn't turn on his lights until we're more than 1,000 feet into Nevada, so he no longer has jurisdiction. And he like keeps us there for like 2 hours trying to come up with a way to charge us for accidentally straying across an imaginary line with our property.
Right.
Yeah.
Fucking ridiculous.
Even if Cox signs the measure, it wouldn't go into effect unless 5 other states also enact similar laws. A provision added after manufacturer and retailers voiced concerns that it would be difficult to implement the filters for a single state. There is some.
I already have plans for a black market for this, so.
Yeah. There is some precedent for states
travel.
Following Utah's example on porn.
They're mobile.
More than a dozen states advanced similar resolutions to declare porn a public health crisis after the state became the first to do so in 2016. If Cox signs the bill, Utah appears poised to become the first state to mandate porn or mandate filters on devices, according to 2 prominent technology experts and the bill's sponsors. Though federal internet restrictions aimed at preventing kids from accessing porn were passed in the late 1990s and later struck down in the courts.
You know how much I hate that fucking phrase, public health crisis?
Yes.
It's
I
mean, it was annoying
hate
already.
That phrase.
Yeah, and then we had the pandemic, and now it's so much more great.
This is how little they understand kids. The National Center on Sexual Exploitation and Anti-Porn Group cheered the bill, saying while many electronic devices come with filters installed, turning them off can be challenging for parents. Quote, Utah has passed a critical common sense solution to help protect vulnerable children from accessing harmful pornographic content on phones and tablets. Executive Director Don Hawkins said in a statement. Adults would be able to turn off the filters if they choose.
You know how you know that it's not common sense? When they
They
say
have
it's
to
a
tell you that
common
it's common
solution.
sense. Yes.
Yeah, that's a good indicator that no one has actually given this any amount of thought at all.
Yeah. And you know what? Kids like bumping into things and getting exposure and like parents talking to them about it and like explaining things to them. That is how real growing up fucking happens. Like, don't look, I let my kids experience things. If they run into a problem, you know, we fucking talk about it. I give them advice. I tell them things that they should probably avoid until they're older. And I tell them why, you know, and like we have these really frank discussions about everything. My boys can talk to me about literally fucking anything. There is no taboo topic in this house. And my kids are very self-regulating for that reason. They're very self-regulating and they're very willing to bring up topics and get more information. And this is important. God damn it. It's important that parents have this power, that parents have this relationship with their children. The state doesn't need to fucking be involved in this.
Well, right. Nope. I mean, the thing is this is a failing of people not wanting to be parents anymore. I mean, that's why they left that door open for the state to step in, because they started just handing tablets to kids and walking away and paying no attention to it. They handed phones to kids, they handed tablets to them, and they didn't pay any attention.
Electronic parenting.
Yeah, and I mean that started clear back. I mean, really in the mid '90s, where it started to get bad with just letting kids get on computers and not caring what they were doing.
In the '80s when like video game consoles came out.
Well, like yeah, I mean, yeah, I mean it's here you go. Here's an electronic that'll distract you. Here's your digital babysitter. Yeah. I don't have to worry about
you. My parents weren't like that, dude. My dad literally the TV. He fucking changed the plug on the TV because my dad was a general contractor, right? He could do all kinds of shit. He changed the plug on the TV to like some fucking weird commercial plug that like the prongs all went different directions. And then he made a little like thing, well, a couple feet long, maybe 2 feet long, that was an adapter. He fucking made an adapter, right? Like in his shop in the basement, he made an adapter.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we could plug in the TV. When he didn't want us watching TV, he fucking pulled the adapter out and hid it. And we literally could not plug our fucking TV in. We would have that adapter for like a half an hour a day.
Yeah, the ACLU is opposed to the bill.
Well, yeah. I mean, occasionally broken clocks are right.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, it's just, and to think that by putting a filter on all phones, that you are going to prevent kids.
Not even all phones, just all phones that are sold in the state of Utah.
Right. But I mean, to think that by putting a filter, even let's say this goes nationwide, let's say it went global. If you think that putting filters on those phones is actually going to keep kids from finding porn, let me introduce you to an Andrew at age 14. All right,
that's what I laughed at. That's what I laughed at the most is that the filter is supposed to keep kids away from porn, but adults can turn it off. How many adults ask their kids or younger siblings how to do things on their phone?
Yeah.
Yeah. It's not going to be hard, even if it's password protected. You can figure out the fucking password.
As if 10-year-old Andrew couldn't figure out how to.
Yeah, my kids were setting up content on streaming services when they were like 3 and 4.
I mean, you got to remember this is the Gen Z is, and the younger kids in Gen Z are the most technologically savvy human beings the
Yeah.
world has ever seen.
They're technology natives is what they're called, because they've never lived in a world without it. They had to grow up with it. It's like part of their childhood.
Yeah,
Yep.
they have. So they, like, if you're under the impression that you're going to be able to keep them with a simple filter, keep them from seeing stuff. I mean, you couldn't buy porno mags, right? Back in the early 90s and mid 90s, you couldn't buy porno mags out of convenience stores unless you were 18. Guess what?
But
Every 14-year-old boy had stuffed
yeah,
under his mattress.
You're
Yeah.
just not supposed to buy alcohol until you're 21 either.
Yeah, and are you kidding me? Half of Wisconsin
but
is
I'll tell
underage
you,
drinking at any given time.
you can go to the bookstore. See, I know this from when I was like 13, 14. You go to the bookstore and buy erotica, though, just like romance novels and stuff. You totally, there's no age restrictions on that. And then, like, we used to fucking draw our own porn. You're just not going to keep it out of their fucking hands.
Yeah, you're not going to be able to do it. And I mean, then the thing is, you
Don't
you
talk
got
to your goddamn kids. Oh
yeah,
my God.
if you just had that conversation, like, look, this stuff is fantasy. If this is your first exposure to sexual content, you're going to be viewing sex incorrectly, and
Yeah, you're going to develop unrealistic expectations.
Yep. Don't do
people
it.
do get addicted to this, especially if they're exposed too young. You don't
Yeah.
want this to like negatively impact your future sex life when you're an adult. And I've told my kids that, and they're totally okay with it, because I've really explained why they're probably too young,
Yeah. And
to be
it's
looking
a
at that.
simple conversation that, if you're trying to actually parent, is easy to do.
Yes.
But instead, these
Too many
lawmakers,
people are squeamish about talking to their kids about sex, so they want the government to fucking do it.
One of my friends growing up, who happened to be he was a pastor of a church. He had a bunch of the church elders that wanted to kick him out of the pulpit because he said the word sex.
Oh my God.
And he was going through Song of Solomon.
Yeah, which is like
that is nothing but, like, if you are a person who is a Christian or a Bible believer at all, and you have an issue with sex, let me introduce you to Song of Solomon. Like, read through that for a minute. If you have a problem, because that is, wow. I mean, some of it's a little weird, but it's supposed to be poetic. I don't know. It's like something about a stag and a tree, and I
don't
know.
understand why, like, the religious right or Christians or whatever you want to say. I don't understand why they're so fucking uptight about sex. If you believe that God made us in his image and made us, like, wanted us to be exactly the way that we are, intentionally created us, we are fucking sexual beings. But that's how we reproduce. He gave us these fucking urges. So why is it such a big deal?
Well, and gave us a command to go forth and multiply. They seem to miss out on that one. That's a thing. And, like, how do you multiply as the human beings? I wonder.
Yeah, there's an awful lot of, like, really strange confusion about that these days. How to multiply.
Yeah. How human beings are supposed to multiply.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can see where maybe that's gotten a little lost.
Yeah, where babies come from. I mean, it's not rocket science. We fucking know.
Well, it's a stork, isn't it? I'm pretty sure that's what I was told.
Yeah, well, these days it's like a sperm and a skin cell from another dude. So, did you guys see that article about the fucking... Yeah. Never mind. We don't need another article to go over.
Speaking of rocket surgery, all right. Pennsylvania police arrest 20,200 adults for marijuana possession during the pandemic.
Jesus.
New data provided by the Pennsylvania State Police shows that 55 Pennsylvanians were arrested every day for marijuana possession in 2020.
So not only do they want to fucking make your life suck, but, like, with all the lockdowns and shit, but they demand that you be fucking miserable about it too. You're not even allowed to fucking have something that makes you happy and puts you in a better
which is, and it's especially ridiculous because, like, Delta 8 THC, right, which is derived generally from hemp plants, is completely legal nationwide now.
Yes.
Completely legal. In fact, people have figured out how to amplify that massively, and now you can totally go in places where weed isn't otherwise legal and buy weed that will get you high. And I have been told apparently Delta 8 doesn't ever make you paranoid.
You could always go in places
So-
where weed isn't legal and
Well,
buy
yeah, but I
stuff
mean,
to
you can
make
go,
high.
yeah, well, yeah, but I mean, you can go into a store, like a regular store, and just buy weed that has Delta 8 THC in it that's completely nationally legal. And apparently, unfortunately, it never gives you that like paranoia thing that's usually most people's trigger, like I'm high enough. So you just keep getting higher.
Wait, people
Um,
have a trigger that they're high enough? Does not compute.
Some people do.
Not the edibles lady over here, though.
But yeah, like, so there is a legal nationwide legal weed, and they're still arresting 20,200 people.
I just realized none of us said Cox Block in response to the Utah porn thing,
Oh,
and I'm really upset about that.
It really should be called the Cox Blocker, I think.
Cox
Yeah.
If he signs it.
the
Science
Cox
is
block.
getting Cox blocked. All right.
God.
I don't know why that just. I don't know why
Oh,
that just
that's
popped
the
in my
joke
head.
that this whole fucking episode should have been centered around.
Damn it.
So,
We
all right,
almost missed.
State and local police made 20,200 marijuana-related arrests in the Commonwealth in 2020. The total number of arrests for all other substances combined was more or less,
Less.
Andrew.
Yeah, I'm going to say probably less.
17,425.
Yep. Yep.
Significantly less.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, but Chris
And
Goldstein.
I don't understand what people's bitch is with fucking cannabis. You like, are you so fucking
Low-hanging fruit.
Yeah. I mean, like, are you so bitter and fucking sandy about shit that you
If
fucking
they-
just
if
can't
they-
stand to see people be happy?
If
Is
they
that your deal?
if they partook in it, they wouldn't be so upset and
Well,
bitchy.
there's
I know.
that cop that was a undercover agent and then had to smoke pot, while he was undercover, and now he does the How Not to Get Busted
Yeah.
video series because he
Like
was
the-
like, "Oh my god, why are we going after people for this? This is
Like
ridiculous."
the prohibitionists on this, they're like the human version of sand in your ass crack at the beach.
Yeah. Chris Goldstein, the normal regional organizer who acquired the data, said, "quote Cannabis consumers were targeted even during the COVID-19 pandemic. This shows just how aggressively prohibition is enforced, despite the unprecedented public health risk in our community. It's time to stop marijuana arrest right now."
Yeah.
The article goes on to say that women and juveniles were arrested more often for cannabis possession than for any other substance.
That is fucking ridiculous. It's
Yes.
a goddamn plant, and you are throwing women and children into cages more often for the plant than anything else.
Yeah. And it's like the safest fucking thing you can use to get high
Well, yeah,
or to treat your pain.
You literally cannot OD on THC because there's a point where it becomes its own catalyst, and it's
arguably safer than porn.
Yeah.
Yeah, because there's a point. I mean, like you can smoke yourself sober again. The absorption of THC is a parabolic arch. There's a point where it starts grabbing itself and pulling itself back out of your bloodstream. You cannot overdose on it, and yet these people will arrest 20,000 people for having this. But if they just went into the doctor and said, "Oh, I'm in pain," they get handed opiates like fucking candy.
Yeah. Yeah. They get handed fucking Vicodin and Percocet and OxyContin and
A couple years ago, my brother was prescribed Vicodin for the flu.
oh my god.
Oh, so here's how I found out that I was opiate immune. Speaking of that, I went in because I had a really plugged up nose, really, really sore throat. Basically, that was it. Like, I have a really bad flu. I just, would like something a little stronger than over-the-counter meds. I get prescribed Tylenol 3,
Which has codeine.
which has codeine in it, and also, I forget what the pill was that they gave me. The purple drank, basically, the codeine cough syrup.
Yeah.
Like, I get 2 codeine containing substances because my throat is sore, and they just hand them out to me, And I
They don't
realized
do
after
that shit anymore. When I fucking sliced off my knuckle and had the Frankenfinger going on, you guys remember that, right?
Yeah.
You want to see the pictures again?
No.
Okay.
Porn is blocked on this channel. We
no,
can't.
no.
Well, it does kind of look like a pussy now, the scar tissue. It looks like a labia, but
Well, yeah.
but at any rate, when that happened, they gave me like 3 fucking Vicodin.
Well, you didn't have the man flu. That's why.
3. Yeah, I know.
It's man flu is so much worse.
Well,
But you know, I don't like opiates because with all my fucking health problems and injuries and like all the nerve damage and everything, like they've had me close to being addicted to them in the past. And I don't fucking like that feeling. And so that's why I use cannabis for my pain.
Yeah, and they'll just hand them out. I mean, like, again, that's how I found out that I was opiate immune. I can't absorb opiates. Yay me. So there are no painkillers that like work for me. But like that is what happened when I went in for a sore throat. And yet you're arresting 20,000 people for a plant.
20,000 people in one state. In
a single state.
In a population of about 12,800,000.
I mean, a significant portion of the population for a drug that you can overdose on that doesn't cause chemical addiction, that is totally safe, that doesn't give you hangovers generally, as long as you got good stuff.
And that makes people happy and lovey. Yeah. Like, I get so lovey. Like, I'm happier to, like, be really affectionate with my kids. I just can't help myself, you know?
If you ever watch the medical marijuana shows, like, you'll see all of these, like, mothers who have, like, severe anxiety and all that. It will straight up say, it makes me a better mother because I'm motivated and I have energy.
I talk about that all the time with my friends that I, like, give edibles to, right? So one of them, I'm not going to name names, and I won't even tell you where these people are. One of them is 38 and has rheumatoid arthritis. One of them is a mother of 7 and has fibromyalgia and postpartum depression, and she's getting off of Zoloft because of these edibles. And then one has breast cancer, and like I have my fucking seizure disorder and all my shit, you know, from my injuries, and literally none of us are having to drink or take fucking pills anymore or any of this other shit. We can function, we can take care of our families and the people that rely on us. And we just are fucking happy. And why would anybody be bitter about that? I don't understand. It fucking blows my mind.
I mean, we all know somebody who has a serious anxiety issue that is now able, because of those edibles, is now able to go out and go shopping on her own without anybody with her. She can go out and do it because it calms her down enough that she can function.
Right.
That's what she couldn't do before. I mean, that's the whole reason she's on disability, is because she freaking can't bring herself to leave the house half the time.
Right.
So, like, how is this bad?
I know. It's not bad. It's not bad. And that makes the cops villains.
You know, that's a good segue. That's a good segue. Victimless crimes being enforced by an angry government seeking control of the populace. Mm-hmm. Right. I mean, that's a decent segue for this one.
Yeah.
Talk about our homies getting busted for running a Bitcoin exchange.
This whole thing infuriates me so fucking much.
Yeah.
So this is from the New Hampshire Union Leader, which is their big paper up there. Free Keene leaders arrested for money laundering and FBI raids. Illegal Bitcoin exchange alleged.
What is an illegal exchange of currency?
It means they didn't have a government permit.
Yeah.
So 6 people were arrested, or 6 people involved with the Libertarian Free Keene group are facing charges, including wire fraud and money laundering, related to an unlicensed cryptocurrency exchange that federal prosecutors say processed some $10 million in 2016. Prosecutors said the 6 people ran an unlicensed online exchange that let people swap dollars for bitcoins and collected a fee for their service. The six charged are Ian Freeman, Colleen Fordham, Renee Spinella, Andrew Spinella, nobody, Rich Paul, and Aria Damasio, who we're big fans of Aria when she ran for
Yeah. In
so
New Hampshire.
the cryptocurrency exchange used bank accounts that purported to be churches, lied to banks, told customers to lie to banks, blah blah blah. So, what it all comes down to is
they were being too free.
That's what they were doing. They're exercising their freedom. They were exchanging. Let's see, where's the quote that I wanted to read?
They were being too free in the land of the free.
Yeah. You're not allowed that. Sorry, you're not allowed that much freedom.
What was it? The live free or die state.
Yeah. Well, and the thing is, like, I was looking forward to this article because I work in the financial industry and we do money changing and things. I looked the other day when I saw this article. I looked the other day around my store and realized that I have posted, because legally they have to be publicly posted, 8 separate licenses and 6 required like notices, just so that I can give short-term loans and then do like MoneyGram, like send money and receive money for people.
Yeah.
And that's after we stopped doing check cashing, because when we had check cashing, we had 3 more.
It's 2021. People still use MoneyGram. They don't have fucking PayPal or Venmo.
Oh no, they use MoneyGram. Our biggest thing is bill pay, because like the local electrical company, if you call them and pay with a debit card over the phone,
they charge you like $25. Right?
Yeah, they charge you like $12. If you send with MoneyGram, it's $2.
Oh jeez.
So it's way cheaper.
I never understood that. You have to pay them to pay them. That fucking never makes any sense to me.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. And it's not like if you had to pay a card processing company a percentage that was going to be a big deal, because all of your bills are like $100+. Yeah. So who cares?
Yeah.
But yeah, it's much cheaper. But like, just so that I can do that, so that I can be like, I have a license to be a currency exchange that is up on my wall. Like it's a big license, and it's like an $8,000 a year license to be able to do currency exchange.
So which all this was people were creating value, people were exchanging value, and the government wasn't getting their fucking cut.
Yep,
that's
exactly
all this is.
And you can legally, they won't do anything if you are simply facilitating, like you're explaining to people how to do it and things. When they started charging fees to do it, that's when they crossed into a business, and that's why the government is pissed, because they're getting something actual monetary out of it, and government's not getting their cut.
What if
this not a mafia?
What if they had just had a way to donate?
I mean, that would have been legal at that point, I think. But I mean, if they were just educating, because that's the thing, is you have to just
recommended donation.
Yeah, well, and it's just you have to just educate people. So if you just tell people this is what you do, and that's all you're doing, and it's for educational purposes, you don't need a license for that.
Yeah.
But the moment that you charge fees or you do it for them, you facilitate it. And now it's a licensing thing, because now you're getting a cut of the proceeds from that, and the government wants a cut of what you're getting from your racket, essentially. Yeah. It's straight up, it's a mafia thing.
It's extortion. It's straight up fucking extortion.
It's exactly the same as like if I'm running a car theft ring in a place that the mob controls, and while I'm making money from these cars, well, now I got to give the mob a chunk of what I'm getting,
or they will kill you.
Yeah, or they'll fucking kill me.
Yeah, and here's this is the thing that really that really tells what the government is really doing here, is that no one in the group, this is quoted in the article, it says no one in the group is alleged to have defrauded clients at all.
Yeah.
So no one was hurt.
Literally nobody was hurt.
Yes. No one in the group is alleged to have defrauded clients.
Yeah. The only ones who got defrauded and cut out were the government.
Yeah, they didn't have the
deserve it anyway.
They didn't have the government's permission.
Yeah, and the government doesn't have a right to any of that to begin with. Yeah,
and there's a lot of listen to Free Talk Live Wednesday night, Wednesday night 3/16. That was the night or the day of the raid. Listen to the Free Talk Live that night. They had a Bonnie, who is Ian Freeman's girlfriend, on there, and a couple of the other people who had witnessed part of it. And like the FBI initially raided like the wrong business, They have a Bitcoin embassy there in Keene, but they raided like the liquor store next door,
What the fuck?
not the Bitcoin embassy. And then like when they raided Ian's house, they like laid all the contents of his wallet out on the bed like they were taking pictures, and then left all the stuff there. Didn't take it as evidence.
What?
Oh, and then they were like intent, and then the feds that were there were like intentionally knocking things over and breaking them, and
Yeah, and
literally
didn't they make this girl like go out into the street naked in like 20-degree weather?
naked, yeah, walking barefoot across the broken windows, and then one of them like
Sexually harassed her,
commented on her feet, and all this other weird, gross stuff.
See, how is this again? How can you hear this shit and not see how government is just a gang, an organized criminal enterprise,
fucking gang? Yeah.
Yes. How do you not see that this is?
I don't know.
I mean, if the mob ruled right now, what would be different? Nothing. Yeah. Nothing would be different.
To be fair,
but without government, you'd have warlords. What do you fucking call this?
Yeah. What is this?
If it was the mob, they'd have been shot in the street.
Yeah.
That's about the only difference.
Yeah, well, and if it had been the mob,
if they had resisted arrest,
they
they would have been shot in the street.
Yeah, if it had been the mob, you can shoot back. I mean, that's the thing, because that's the only thing that separates, really at its core, that people need to realize, the only thing that separates the mob from government is that the mob doesn't claim an exclusive right to force.
Yeah, the government has better PR, and they have you convinced that you don't have a right to fight back against them.
Yeah, I mean, and the crazy thing is, even within mob-controlled territories, like at the height of the mob, like in the 70s, right, in New York and things, they still didn't claim an exclusive right to force. They still acknowledged that people were going to fight and maybe fight back against them, and just dealt with that, and that was just a reality of doing business.
Yeah.
That they're still, like, I can't believe that the mob is somehow more morally righteous than government, and yet they are.
Yeah, I know. It's mind-blowing. And I don't know, like you said, Andrew, how do people not fucking see this? It is so blatant.
Well, if
it is so obvious.
If the mob had their own mandatory education program that people were forced to go through
for 13 fucking years of their life. Yeah.
15,000 hours.
Yeah.
Well, and it's, and the funny thing is, if you watch, there are certain former mob guys who speak out publicly now and stuff. And there's the one who has his own YouTube channel that famously and absolutely hilariously, I guess, went to go see Goodfellas with his wife after he gotten out of prison. It was in theaters, and he's in Goodfellas. Like he's one of the characters in Goodfellas. And she was like, and I guess she looked at him and went, "Is this really what your life was like?" He's like, "No, honey, this is Hollywood. It wasn't really all that like." And then as soon as he says that, they say his name, because it's that opening, when he's introducing everybody. And as soon as he says that, his name gets said, and he goes, "All right, we're leaving," and leaves. But he's taught. Even he understands the criminal, the wrongness of what he was doing now better than people who used to work for government ever seemed to.
And mafiosos, they know that they're bad guys.
Yeah, they're well aware. They are well aware that what they're doing is wrong, that they're hurting people, that it's criminal. They are thoroughly aware. They just see no alternative in general for them to be able to make money and have power and all these other things. And don't get me wrong,
government mobsters think that they're fucking heroes.
Yeah, that's the really horrific thing, is that they are absolutely convinced that when they do things like this, like I guarantee you that after they did this raid on a bunch of people, who hurt no one, they hurt absolutely no one. They just didn't give government their cut. After they did that, I guarantee you they were shaking each other's hands and slapping each other on the ass and going, good raid.
What was it? They had FBI there. They had DHS there. They had Treasury there. And then they had ATF there. And the ATF was there because they were libertarians. And they were worried about the people having guns and bombs and all that other shit.
Of course.
simply because they don't like the idea
No, and
of government.
it gives credence to the entire thing that I talked about before when we talk about caste systems, right? The bitcoins, people not using fiat dollars, you starting to use Bitcoin, you start taking away that power base from the upper caste, and then the upper caste goes, oh no, we can't have that.
Well, yeah, and that's what caused this raid. Really, is that they were giving power to people.
Not only that, but like that. I mean, Free Talk Live has been on the air for what, like 8 years now, or something like 7-8 years now. 200 radio stations across the nation. There's satellite radio in Africa and all over the place. Like, this is a large mouthpiece. Let's be real about this. It's a large mouthpiece. It's not as big as like NPR or nothing, but it's probably the largest mouthpiece in terms of liberty-oriented content.
Right, and once again, they're making an example of people who stand up.
Ian was the mouthpiece of that. He was the head of that, and taking him out and throwing him in jail, and they did not allow him out on bail. They withheld bail on him. Everyone else is out except for him and Rich Paul. Rich Paul, I think he was.
You'll never convince me that this wasn't emotionally motivated for these agents of the state.
Absolutely, it's absolutely targeted.
This is about revenge. This is about them being pissed off that they
silencing
were openly
the opposition.
They're openly defying them, and they're rubbing their noses in the fact that, well, I'm not scared of you. I'm not going to be cowed by your threats. And so in response, like a bunch of fucking Nazis, they had to punish them.
Right.
You know,
thereby proving them absolutely correct in everything they've been saying.
Exactly. Like, if you say, hey, these people are psychotic Nazis who arrest people for victimless crimes, and what they do is wrong, and I shouldn't, and they'll punish anybody who speaks out against them. And then in response, you arrest them for victimless crimes for speaking out against you. You have proven everything they just said absolutely correct.
Yep.
Okay, keep that in mind. Congressional leaders are discussing a new $2 billion funding package that would bolster security around the U.S. Capitol and shore up vulnerabilities exposed by the January 6th attack, according to sources familiar with the talks.
See, that tells me that they fucking know what we just said. And they don't care because they don't want to give up their power.
Among them, a permanent fence around the Capitol, hundreds of new security personnel, either National Guard or a military police presence.
Military police?
And new authorities for the District of Columbia's National Guard to be dispatched in an emergency situation, one of those sources said. The plan under consideration also would expand the U.S. Capitol Police Force, potentially hiring hundreds more officers, and make changes to the USCP's board.
Military police in the capital of the United States.
Hold on. Wait, one more paragraph. Many of the recommendations stem from a task force report led by retired Lieutenant General Russell Henry, who was appointed by House Speaker Nancy Pelosi to examine the security failures on January 6th and to propose changes.
Yeah, well, when you're a hammer, everything looks like a fucking nail. There's a reason that Jeremy calls that fucking cesspool Mordor on the Potomac.
Okay, all right, this is a thought exercise for you, Andrew. Andrew, you've been overseas, you've seen foreign lands, you've done things over there. If you walked in, if you entered the capital of a capital of a foreign country, and there were walls around the Capitol, armed personnel patrolling the grounds around said Capitol.
I think I was in North Korea.
Military police presence around said Capitol. What would that make? What would be your opinion of that government?
It's clearly despotic. It's obviously, I mean, and then actually we did actually,
and does not have the support of its citizens.
Yeah, I mean, there's in 2003. Yeah, it was 2000. I think it was in 2003. So it was the year before I actually went into the army. When we rolled into Baghdad, right? That's the first time.
Just a few days ago was the 18th anniversary of the U.S. invasion of Iraq.
Yeah.
Jesus.
And it's so when the United States military rolls into Baghdad in 2003, it is the first time that a major military from a developed power has gone into an enemy capital since World War II.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
So since 1945, this is the first time this has happened anywhere in the world. And it occurs. And in response, initially on the first run through Baghdad, there's a ton of military out. There's Republican Guard. They're attacking the convoy that's running through. All these things are happening, right? And then they double back and they increase their strength and they come and they run back through. And now they're going to try and occupy it. And if you talk to the guys who were there, a lot of them, and I have, and a lot of them will tell you, that they thought that it really showed just to what level Hussein just, ruled with an iron fist all of the people, that he had all this propaganda going out saying, well, the Americans aren't in Baghdad. They're not in the capital. Like literally as our tanks are sitting in the capital. Right. And that's actually that occupation, that run through is actually where the first M1 Abrams lost to enemy fire happened, was along there. Really lucky shot from an RPG. But the thing that they talk about is that it's so ridiculous that they're sitting there in the Capitol and this propaganda is going out that no, we're keeping you safe. Ignore reports of all these armored vehicles and that, we have this Republican Guard roaming around, and ignore all that. No, everything's fine. Just go about your business. And that this Republican Guard is in such heavy force in the Capitol attacking them. They all say, that really showed just how evil Saddam Hussein was, that he has all of this military running around his capital ready to fight, and that they're shooting with reckless abandon. They do not care if they damage people's houses or apartments or anything else. They're just shooting. And now what we're seeing in Washington, D.C. is exactly this kind of thing, where they're trying to build up these fences and these walls and an armed, occupying military presence that is expressly fucking warned about by all of the founding
because they
country.
know that they're pissing off enough of their own citizens.
Also one of the other, it's not listed in that article, but in a previous article, I think we talked about it in our Telegram group, where they want a National Guard QRF on standby 24/7, 365.
You know what that tells me? Because the only time that you have a QRF, right, a quick reaction force, that's what that stands for. The only time you have a QRF is in combat situations, when you are in a war zone.
Yes.
Which means they now consider Washington, D.C. and the entire United States by extension to be an active war zone.
Yeah. Well, that tells me they plan on committing fucking war crimes, which they do anyways against American citizens every fucking day.
There was the black sites in Chicago, and that was years ago that we found out about those. I mean, that's agency level shit. That's OGA shit, man.
And we've talked about that before, how the ROE is stricter for our troops in a foreign country than it is for the cops dealing with fucking citizens here.
Yeah, you couldn't even hear, if you heard a zing, it wasn't close enough. You had to actually hear a snap. Yeah. That was our ROE. We had to actually hear the supersonic snap of a round going past, which meant that it was really close and being fired directly at us. It couldn't be the zing, because the zing means it ricocheted. Right. So it can't be the zing. It's got to be direct fire at you before you can engage. So we can watch groups of people walk past us with RPGs and AK-47s.
They can point them at you. They can tell you they're going to fucking kill you, and you can't do anything.
There isn't a goddamn thing we can do about it in a war zone, but you come to the United States, the land of the free, and all of a sudden...
as a citizen...
Yeah, and all of a sudden, just simply going for my cell phone...
combatants.
Yeah, going for my cell phone will get me shot. I mean...
Some Republicans, including Representative Rodney Davis, the top Republican on the House Administration Committee, have said they agree with some of Henri's recommendations, suggesting there could be a path forward for a bipartisan funding bill to improve the Capitol's security.
And what did George Carlin say about bipartisan?
A larger than normal
Yeah, larger than normal deception is being enacted.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I think I posted this on the page, didn't I? My one meme.
They don't
ever want me to feel safe.
Yes.
And that's an actual picture from like within the past week. That is an actual picture inside Washington, D.C. of concrete K-rails with barbed wire above it being strung around the Capitol building. That is now.
But Andrew, that can't be right because we have a government of the people.
Of the people, by the people, for the people.
And for the people.
Yeah.
Well,
I mean, that's
let's be honest. We're, according to the Constitution, some people weren't actually people, right? Well, according to the government, we're not actually people.
Right.
Yeah, we're chattel. I mean, that's the
no. We're domestic terrorists.
Well, we're domestic terrorists, but the average person is chattel. I mean, that's, and that's the funny thing is that, like, it in 1862, 3? Is it 3? I'm spacing right now. When the Gettysburg Address is given, right? The irony is that Lincoln says, that a government of the people, by the people, and for the people shall not perish from this earth, as he's going to war against people who don't want that government anymore.
Against a sovereign territory that had seceded.
Yeah.
I mean, regardless of why they seceded, and let's be honest, the reason the South seceded was fucking slavery, and anyone who tells you different is a load of just feeding you horseshit. It's the lost cause mythology, and it's wrong. Fuck you, Ted Turner. But, but the irony is that he's literally going to war against people who are fighting for a government that they want, that they've created. And he's using violence to stop them from doing that. And as he does, he says, it's the government of the people, by the people, and for the people.
Of the people, by the people, for the people. Does it free the slaves in the northern states?
Yeah. He doesn't even, not even just northern states. He doesn't even free the slaves in Kentucky. Because everybody forgets that Kentucky is the state that didn't join the Confederacy until after the war was over.
Yeah.
They never seceded. They were part of the Union, which means they were not in a state of rebellion, and they were a slave state. So when Lincoln's Emancipation Proclamation happens, he only frees slaves in territories that he arguably has no jurisdiction over, the ones that are in a state of rebellion, which means places like Kentucky that have slaves get to keep them.
Yes.
Right.
All right. Let's get this last article out of the way. Michigan restaurant owner to remain in jail on charges of violating the COVID-19 orders.
This one.
All right.
Pisses me off too.
Because the judge in this one just using very stern language, a judge ordered a West Michigan restaurant owner accused of violating multiple court orders to remain in jail, likely for several days, until it is apparent that she doesn't intend to reopen her business.
You can't fucking do that!
Hold on. Remain in jail until it is apparent that she doesn't intend to reopen her business.
So by law,
people.
Right.
She is literally a political prisoner.
Yeah. Somebody fucking call UNICEF.
But I mean, we can say you can't do that all day until we're blue in the fucking face. But the fact is, they fucking can because they have the power, because the people give them the fucking power. And power will always be abused like this. Always.
And that circles back around to what I was that circles back around to what I was saying about the claim on exclusive right to coercive force is because they claim that you have no recourse here. Now that they've just decided that whole Constitution thing, fuck that. You have nothing you can do in response.
Right.
Legally, there's nothing you can do in response.
Right. There's legally.
according to Brandenburg v. Ohio, there's nothing that you can do.
There's a line in a piece of paper about that, but we'll get to that.
Yeah.
Well, that maybe you're obligated to do something here, not just that you have a right, but you're in fact obligated. Yeah.
Yeah.
Behind bars in Ingham County is Marlena Pavlos Hackney, the owner of Marlena's Bistro and Pizzeria in Holland, that's Holland, Michigan, which remained open in defiance of warnings and cease and desist orders issued because of its refusal to comply with state requirements intended to curb the spread of COVID-19.
Did they have customers?
Yes. She was arrested in Michigan State Police. She was arrested by Michigan State Police early Friday, March 19th, and she failed to turn herself in on a bench warrant issued earlier this month. The warrant charges her with contempt of a court order to close her restaurant, which continued to operate even after its license was suspended. Ingham County Circuit Court
That's a whole other topic, licensing. I mean, it all circles back.
Ingham County Circuit Judge Rosemary E. Aquilina at the arraignment Friday afternoon said Pavlos Hackney would be released only after she paid a $7,500 fine, and that the Michigan Attorney General's office was satisfied that the restaurant will remain closed until the court matter is resolved.
You can't...
Quote, we're in the midst of a pandemic. You have selfishly not followed the orders. You've not followed them for your own financial gain, and apparently for the publicity that comes with this.
Or to feed her fucking family, maybe?
I mean, this whole thing, and it's so bizarre that the new revolution is simply opening your business.
Yes.
Yeah. Or breathing the air freely.
Yeah,
Remember when being anti-government was radical?
Yeah.
Yeah. Pavlos Hackney has appeared on national conservative talk shows to proclaim that she was standing up for her constitutional rights. She has also gained support of others who believe that the government is overstepping its bounds with orders intended to curb the COVID-19 pandemic.
And that right there is exactly why they've gone after her so hard, is because she dared to openly declare, I am doing this for your freedoms.
Yep. Yeah.
Pavlos Hackney has defiantly said Thursday that she would remain open even if she was arrested. Quote, so ma'am, this is the wrong way to get publicity. This is the wrong way to be a good citizen.
No,
it is the wrong way to assist the public in a pandemic. That's a quote from the judge.
Yeah, well, I reject your pandemic premise, dick face.
I reject your reality and substitute my own.
Yeah, it's...
I'm just saying, like, his reality isn't necessarily reality.
Wait.
Yeah, your premise itself is flawed. Therefore, any logic that you try to pull from it is also flawed.
There's another quote coming up, and Derica's going to lose her shit. Pavlos Hackney remained silent during the proceeding. In fact, when she initially refused to take an oath to tell the truth, and then attempted to argue with the judge, the no-nonsense judge threatened her with arrest for contempt of court.
I love that term. Can I just say I love the term "no nonsense judge" because it indicates the existence of a nonsense judge, where somebody's like, woo, when they come into this court.
This is a quote from the judge. Quote, I know you want to control this room, but this isn't Burger King. When the sign changes to Burger King, then you can have it your way.
I know you want to control this room too, asshole.
Yeah, like fuck these people so hard. Like, this is the problem.
So you're literally just saying, I don't get things my way. We all only get things your fucking way. That makes you a tyrant.
Yeah, I mean, and the reality is that we're constantly, increasingly, we're facing this point where we can't even talk about this shit openly because we'll be arrested for advocating for sedition.
Yeah.
I mean,
all these stories have a common theme. They were part of this group or that group. They were activists for this or that. And that is why the government has gone after them. These people are political prisoners. They are U.S. citizens being held in detention by the U.S. fucking government for wrong thing.
And that, I will say this. Growing up in Ireland with who I grew up with, the guys like Bobby Sands, right? And I think everybody knows who Bobby Sands is. He died on hunger strike because the Irish political prisoners that were being held by the British were not being declared political prisoners, and therefore they were being treated like common criminals and everything. And they wanted political prisoner status because that allows you certain extra things, right, under UN conventions.
Yes.
And that's what they're lobbying for. We're getting to that same point here, and I remember there. Now, obviously, Sands died in '86, which is the year I was born, so it's not like I remember that. But I do remember everybody talking about that idea that political prisoners being treated like common criminals allows for far further abuses
Oh yeah.
under international convention because you're purely an internal criminal at that point. So you're entirely subject to your captors rules. Whereas if you're a political prisoner, now you have to give
These
them
defense
certain
attorneys need to start
things.
exploiting that.
They really need to go after it. They need to start lobbying for political prisoner status. And considering how pissed off the UN has lately been at the United States for turning more despotic, and say what you will about the UN, but they at least have acknowledged that the US is heading that direction too. Really, you should be lobbying the UN for political prisoner status at this point.
Yeah. Pavlos Hackney declined to enter a plea at the arraignment and will return for a hearing, which has not been scheduled. Baker, her attorney, said Pavlos was prepared to pay the $7,500 immediately and to close the restaurant so she could leave jail. Aquilina, Aquilina.
I think it is Aquilina.
Aquilina responded that she heard Pavlos Hackney mutter that the restaurant had already been closed at 2 p.m. The judge then wondered aloud if that was the usual closing time and that if it would reopen the following day. Indeed, the restaurant's published hours are 6 a.m. to 2 p.m. Quote, nice. I'm clearly convinced right now, today, that the restaurant had remained open and there are no intentions to comply with the law. The judge said she would only be satisfied that the restaurant would remain closed and therefore allow Pavlos Haklina to leave jail when the Michigan Attorney General Dana Nassel's office is satisfied. A representative of the Attorney General
they're mind readers.
Told the judge that the office typically is satisfied after it's verified, quote, over a number of days by the health department or state inspector that the establishment is closed. The restaurant has continued to operate after its food license was suspended in late January for failing to require workers and customers to wear masks or socially distance.
So, like, I've been in jail a couple of times, and
hold on, two more paragraphs. On March 4th, Ingram Circuit Court issued a bench warrant for her arrest for reportedly ignoring the food license suspension. That same day, Pavlos Hackney told M Live, quote, I'm not afraid. I'm fighting for freedom in America.
That definitely makes her fucking political prisoner.
Yeah, she's a political prisoner. And here's the thing is I've been to jail a couple of times and both times were for a lot of horseshit. And that upset me. And I just wanted to get out. But if I am in jail, if I am ever locked up for political reasons, I am a political prisoner. There is literally nothing you can do to me that will make me comply with your demands.
Yeah.
Yes, fuck you.
If you make it a matter of principle, you will find out how fucking stubborn I am.
You're about to like her even more. The restaurant had remained open despite a state order last November that banned indoor dining at restaurants to slow the spread of coronavirus. At the time, a sign was placed on the front door that read, quote, welcome. We are a constitutionally compliant business. We are not infringing on anybody's inalienable rights. By law, we do not have to follow any of the governor's, mayor's, health departments, or other government agencies or suggestions pertaining to the social distancing or mask wearing.
You know what's fun about that is, according to a Supreme Court decision, a fairly early Supreme Court decision, any law that is unconstitutional, that does not agree with the Constitution, is not a law.
It's not
automatically.
Valid.
It's not. It's just. It's not valid. So her argument is entirely legitimate, even by the Constitution.
Yes. Despite Pavlos Hackney's arrest, the restaurant was open Friday with her supporters packing the eatery for breakfast.
I love it.
Nice.
I love it. I mean, that's the thing is, So that's the other thing that you got to realize, and like I think everybody's got to realize, is increasingly, because of the way the United States government is getting steadily more tyrannical, steadily worse, increasingly defiance is going to be trial by fire, right? And remember, fire purifies gold, right? So increasingly the fence sitters are not going to get to be fence sitters anymore. You are going to have to make a true decision whether or not you are willing to endure prison, you're willing to endure torture, you're willing to endure being thrown in solitary confinement for an extended period for refusing to comply, because they will not let you sit on that fence. They will not let you half-ass.
Solitary confinement kind of sounds nice to me.
I mean, come on, let's. They're throwing people in jail for opening their restaurants during COVID, but they're releasing rapists and murderers and car thieves because of COVID.
You know what's
It
interesting
is not about public safety.
I can remember another story in a book, a really big book.
Is this a short plane trip?
Yeah, I can remember another story in a really big book about somebody choosing to release a murderer instead of somebody who is innocent. And it didn't work out so hot overall, long term. That's just saying, like, the Barabbas, anybody? No, maybe it's just me. I'm the only one. It's the story of Jesus. Okay,
you're too smart for our audience.
when Pilate tries to get out of condemning Jesus himself, he goes, well, I have Barabbas, who's a convicted murderer, and then I have Jesus, who's basically done nothing wrong. You guys pick one. Who you want me to release? And they all pick Barabbas, and it didn't work out real well overall for Rome long term. So I'm just saying, like, doing this kind of shit.
Did anything work out well for Rome in the long term?
No.
I mean, well, the roads,
the canals, right?
The aqueducts.
Yeah, apart from the aqueducts, the freshwater system, the sanitation, peace. Well, I can't think of his Life of Brian now. But that's the thing is, like, I'm just looking at this and I'm going, you're releasing murderers, you're releasing rapists, you're releasing really terrible people in the name of COVID, and then you're also jailing people who disagree with you politically
for opening their restaurant.
Yeah, I have a feeling that long term, this may not be an intentional, like, planned thing, but long term, what's going to happen is they're probably going to go back to these murderers and these rapists and go, hey, help us out here, and start recruiting them. Because when shit truly hits the fan, those are the people that are going to be like, well, you owe us. So
the loyalist.
Yeah. So that's who they're going to get. And they're going to wind up with all those people that are the worst of the worst of the worst.
And that's how we end up with shit like fucking Mad Max.
Well, yeah, I mean, that's, and the thing, like, I don't want to see what I can see coming happen, but this is what it's setting up. You can see it. It's super obvious. You can feel it in the air every time you talk to people about government.
It's so dystopian. It is so fucking dystopian.
You can feel this conflict coming.
At least the politicians will be safer behind their $2 billion worth of fencing and armed security and military police and National Guard QRF.
What kills me is if people were watching this in a movie or reading this in a novel, they would know exactly where all this shit is headed. But it's happening all the fuck around them and they can't see it.
Yeah. Well, I mean, and I will say increasingly people do see it. Like, if you mention the word civil war to people now, increasingly more and more and more people go, yeah, I think that's probably on the horizon. I think that's coming. Like, more people see it. They don't doubt it. They're recognizing it because it's becoming so palpable in the air around political conversations.
Discourse. Yeah.
That you can't ignore it anymore. Like, that it's happening. That it's coming. And stuff like this, I mean, it's a political prisoner being punished for non-compliance, for refusing to comply because they know she won't comply.
Right.
Tell me that isn't pointing us one direction.
And what is this creating? This is creating martyrs. for the cause. This is galvanizing
All right.
people who pay
All right.
attention.
Yeah.
His name was Duncan Limp.
You know, speaking of one quick point, national debt right now is about 28 trillion. And you know how debtclock.org lets you go forward 5 years? Right, forward 5 years. It says it's 49 trillion.
Jesus.
What's after a trillion? Is it quadrillion?
Quadrillion.
Collapse is after trillion.
Well,
Yeah.
In this case, but I'm just saying number wise, quadrillion is the next one.
Yeah, so
You're talking about what's the U.S. GDP?
Right at 25, isn't it?
That's let me see. U.S. GDP 21.43 trillion in 2019.
Yeah. So
just to put that in perspective, that kind of dat.
Yep. That's right. It's all clever pibbing. I'm telling you. It's all clever pibbing.
The entire U.S. would have to work for free for a year to pay off.
But what do I know? So, on that note, throw out your links. Let's get out of here.
Buy my book.
Buy Derica's book.
Yep.
Links in the description.
Yep.
If you want a luxurious beard like I have, where it is healthy and it is shiny and it is soft, you will go to thebeardstruggle.com. Care for your beard like a Viking and use code InkedAnarchist15 so that you get 15% off of the fantastic beard products. I highly recommend their Gold series for scents. They're fantastic. Also, make sure that if you like luxury sunglasses and luxury watches and you want to look really freaking stylish, man, you're going to check out shopvalerio.com. Use code InkedAnarchist25. Get 25% off of their watches, their sunglasses. They have a couple other things. They got stuff for women. They got stuff for kids. Check it out. It's super awesome. Also, don't forget to check out Poppins Patches and get some cool stuff. I still have this patch to give away, and no one has followed directions
yet again. Because they're fucking anarchists, Andrew.
We're not that popular, you guys. I'm telling you.
This is a business transaction, man. I want to give you this patch. I want to give it to you. It's cool. Like, let me give it to you. All I need you to do at this point, because I want to give that patch away, is I just need you to like our page, like Poppins Patches, and comment or send a message and say, hey, I like both pages.
To our Facebook page.
Yeah.
Links in the description.
Yeah, that's all I need. And then once you do that, you know what? If you're the first one to do that at this point, I'm going to send you a fucking patch. I got a stack of patches to give away, man. And you people can't follow instructions. And I want to give you
Nobody fucking listens to us.
I want to give you free shit. Let me give
We've
you
been doing this for 4 years, you guys, because we started this when we were in our old house. And December was 3 years since we bought this house.
Yep.
I just want to give people free stuff. That's all I'm trying to do. I will pay the shipping. You don't have to pay shipping. You'll just get a free patch in the mail that you can throw on stuff. And the Thrawn's Laboratory one ain't bad. Like, if you're a Star Wars fan, it's a super cool patch. I got a second Star Wars one I'm going to be giving away. I still have a couple of Trump ones left over that I want to give. I still have the election.
Whoever comments is going to get like 4 patches.
Yeah.
Like, I'm just going to send you a stack of shit because you know what? And my only condition, if I send you a giant stack, is just tell people, hey, this is from Poppins Patches. Like, just promote my boy Dave and his stuff, man. Like, that's all I'm looking for.
All right. Anything else?
No.
No. On that note, this has been episode 129. I think I'm going to call this episode Cox Blocked.
Yeah.
And then we'll catch you on the next one, huh?
Yeah.
All right, peace.
Peace.